So, welcome to this episode of ISV Talks. I'm Carol Livingston from Dynamics Connections. And on this episode, we have Jeff Evenson and Tom Nielsen from Liaison Software. And Liaison Software and their Messenger EDD product helps clients with automated business form and report distribution. So, please welcome Jeff and Tom. Welcome to this episode of ISV Talks. And on this episode, we have Jeff Evenson and Tom Nielsen from Liaison Software. And welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Good morning, Carol.
Do you want to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your background and how long you've been with Liaison?
Sure, I think I'll lead off. My name is Jeff Evenson. I founded Liaison back in 1992. I'm currently the president.
Tom, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, my name's Tom Nielsen with Liaison. I've been with Liaison for over 23 years now. I am the VP of Sales, and I manage the channel through the whole world, actually. So we have quite a number of clients over in the UK and South Africa and Asia, Australia and New Zealand, and of course, Canada.
Tell us a little bit about your company and your solutions, and how did the company get started?
Back in the late 1980s, I was working for a company called Galaxy Systems and Resources. I'm a programmer, and I was developing accounting software for the forms industry. And in about 1990, 1991, the company had needed to have a replacement for their tech support and sales and marketing software called Goldmine. And so I started working on a framework back then for a software at home, not with the company, but I did it on my own. And I started actually the company on the kitchen table of my girlfriend at the time, was now my wife's apartment in the kitchen. By 1993, I had developed the framework, and the first product that I created for it was this program called The Closer. Well, we didn't really like the name of it, and so we were trying to think of a new name for this product. And one day, my wife and I were out driving around, and we passed a billboard for a sign with one close called Dangerous Liaisons. And Chris says, "Well, what about Liaison? That's kind of a neat name." I says, "Yeah, it is. It's kind of, the software is supposed to be between a customer and our tech support and a customer and the sales department. So yeah, maybe Liaison." And that's how the name came about. And so the first sale we had was in 1993, April 15th, tax day we sold our very first copy of Liaison, the CRM, which is a contact management system. And that's how the whole thing started. In 1995, we formed a partnership with two other folks. That's when Liaison Software Company became an LLC. Tom came in 1999, and then we incorporated in 2001. And that's right around the time when we came out with Liaison Messenger. And Messenger is a distributor of business forms. And that's kind of my background inside of the forms industry, helped develop the Liaison Messenger. Because the funny thing about business form distributorships is they all want to sell business forms. They don't want to use them themselves. So the Galaxy Systems created the ability to fax forms to vendors. It emailed forms to vendors. And that's how the whole concept began with the forms industry. And so Messenger took the next step, and we started, giving the capability to customers to route, to do at the same time. They print once, Messenger can route to multiple printers, it can email, it can fax, all in one fell swoop. It can attach documents. And Tom will get into all that part later. But that's how the whole thing came about. In the year 2000, we had Messenger for Platinum for Windows. 2001 came with Great Plains. 2003, Solomon. 2005, Mass 90. And then by 2011, Liaison Messenger EDD took over as our main flagship product.
That's an interesting story. It's the first time I've heard of a company named after a movie.
It was a good movie too. Yeah.
So Tom, tell us a little bit about the company products, the companion products for Dynamics ERPs, but I know you also, you mentioned you work with other ERPs as well. So you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So we have a really a Messenger family of products. Really our flagship product is Messenger EDD. And what Messenger does is it automates business form and report distribution. So some of the key features are like batch emailing, archiving of documents, but really the key feature of Messenger is its ability to attach supporting documentation to outbound documents. For instance, if
Mm.
you're sending out statements to customers, we could review all the invoice numbers listed on the statement, go into an archive folder, retrieve copies of those invoices, and merge them into one PDF. But
That's
really the power,
fantastic. I think that's
yeah,
a really common request is the AR statement and all the open invoices. Yeah.
exactly. But what the beauty of it is that you can really set up a script, a set of rules or actions built around the report that's running through Messenger. And from an end user standpoint, the end user just prints with our print driver. There's really no changes from an end user standpoint. So that's really the beauty of it. It triggers, we work off a print stream, which lets us really work with any type of ERP package or third-party product or custom solution, and even take data from that report and trigger running other reports in the process, really distributing them based on those rules.
You mentioned you work with any ERP system or even a third party or custom solutions, right?
Exactly. So all of the Dynamics products, cloud-based products, we have NetSuite, Acumatica users, we have all of the Sage products. Then we get into some of the ISV products that you support also. There's about 6 or 7 of them that use Messenger to distribute their reports and business forms. And then we have customers that use custom solutions also. They've written a custom invoicing system. Messenger can trigger off of that custom system also.
Awesome. Well, let's changing gears a little bit. Just Tom, tell me, I know you've been working on the channel since 1999 on this. What changes have you seen in the past several years, especially as clients are trying to increase their efficiency and operational effectiveness?
Right. No question, cloud-based solutions. We're definitely hearing that more and more. Customers are looking at that as an option, is going to the cloud. We still have plenty of clients that feel that keeping that data in-house and not having it hosted. There's still a need for that too. But there's no question that cloud-based solutions is what we're meeting up with now and integrating with.
I know you've helped a lot of customers. Do you have maybe a customer success story that you could share about your products and how you help them?
Yeah, I have two stories really to mention. I think it shows a really unique way that Messenger is used. One is a customer in North Carolina. What they do is they have a pick ticket that's sent to their warehouse printer. And what they were doing before that is they were having to go back into GP and print labels from GP. So what Messenger has the capability of doing is adding QR codes to the report. So what we did is we even staggered the QR code. So one line item, and this is at the line item level. So we have one QR code for the first line item on the right, the next line item it's on the left. So when you go to scan it, it's much easier to scan, and the chances are you're not going to scan the wrong barcode. But we've taken data from the report, like the customer ID number, the item number, the quantity, and then we pass that off into the QR code. So they scan the QR code and then it prints labels, which they then attach to the boxes that they're shipping out. We have another customer. It's actually a Pizza Hut franchise in the Midwest. What they do is they have financial reports that they need to distribute to 160 of their Pizza Hut store managers. When the financial reports are ready, they always run one report last. The first 3 reports that are run are, we take the one report, we burst it into 160 PDFs. We then archive those to a folder and name them the store ID number. When the 4th report runs, we do the same thing. We burst that report into 160 PDFs. Then we go into the archive folder. We retrieve copies, all of the other 3 reports by store ID number, merge them into one PDF, and then we distribute them. So each store manager receives one email with one attachment, and in that one attachment are the 4 documents, the 4 reports.
What they used to do before was they would have to generate for each individual store the report for manager reporter 1 and run it again and again. So what Messenger was able to do is one fell swoop, take one big giant batch, an entire report, burst, and that's one of the things that Messenger can do. You can take one PDF of 10,000 documents, burst them individually, and depending upon the rules that the ISV or the IT department sets up, we can reassemble those things, resort those things, break them up. So sending only the applicable pages to the respective parties. there's a lot of processing that, again, it saves time, it saves money, but you can have one report generate that can just be distributed to hundreds of different people in one fell swoop. And all it is, see, when you print through Messenger's virtual print driver, we're sort of like capturing, putting the entire report in suspended animation. Typically, when you print from your computer, the job goes right to the printer. Well, we're the liaison. We're in between that printer and the customer and the envelopes and everything else. And so Messenger, you can do a lot of things to it. Like when Tom was alluding to the fact that we can put in QR codes. Well, the QR codes weren't on the document when it was sent from GP. Messenger got it, said, okay, wait a second. The rules here say we need to have a QR code for each item key. So we make a call to a web service, generate the image of the respective barcode, embed that into the document itself, and then we produce the PDF file. So we're basically stopping an entire print stream and allowing the user to do pretty much anything they want. So you can create, let's say you were printing an invoice, but you needed to have an MSDS report, material safety data sheet. Messenger can stop the printing of that document, run an SSRS report, generate the MSDS to disk, continue processing the form, and then attach it, and then send it off to the customer or print it in the warehouse. So you're able to call crystal reports, SSRS reports, run storage procedures triggered by somebody printing a document in sales or accounting or wherever. Messenger's virtual print driver gives them that ability to say, wait a minute, more things need to be done in this document, and I got to pull this document, I need to attach this document. You could even say, okay, I want this document to go to the salesperson, but I don't want this financial information on there. Messenger could put a blockout on that document, send it to the salesperson, and then send the other form to the customer with the information. But you don't have to have multiple reports. You don't have to have multiple report templates. Messenger allows you to augment and change the format, but still receiving the documentation. Plus, we can also encrypt it too. There might be things like we have customers that have sensitive data. Messenger can put under a password and then send a text message to the recipient with their specific one-time only password so that only they could open the document. Not even the person sending the document can get it. So we incorporated things like two-factor authentication on documents, because we do have customers inside of the health industry that need to send patient information. And so we're able to incorporate that and encrypt it and give a one-time password to the recipient. So a lot of neat things that we can do. It's just, people don't think of this as, oh, emailing and faxing. Well, when you're emailing and faxing and sending documents in today's age with all the security problems, you need something to protect yourself. And we've incorporated that now into the process of EDD. So you can turn that feature on if you want it, turn it off for another customer who doesn't want it. And everybody on a recipient by recipient basis can have rules on how they want to receive their documents.
Yeah, you kind of talked about that modern authentication issue. I know that's going on for a lot of GP customers that, maybe for some reason they can't get upgraded on the latest update version. So they're having issues with emailing. How are you guys helping with that?
Right, that's the beauty of Messenger too. It is modern authentication compatible. It's compatible with TLS 1.2. So it works with any version of GP. So that's another thing that's the beauty too. We're just dealing with print stream. So we're able to take that and then process it. And we've been really busy this past year because of that need. Our resellers have been great. They've come back to us they knew that we can solve the problem, but no question that that's a game changer.
And since the Messenger server actually handles all the emailing, we're the ones that are handling the OAuth 2, the modern authentication. So even though they might have email up in the cloud inside of Office 365, Messenger is still the one who's managing this. So we're actually getting the token from the Office Exchange server, incorporating that into the server, and we're sending out emails. We could also throttle. I know there's a lot of thresholds now that says, oh, you can only send out 60 emails an hour or 90 emails an hour. Well, Messenger can throttle that so it still stays in compliance with Office Exchange in the cloud. And since we're managing the OAuth 2 and the token authentications, it's to the customer, even if they haven't upgraded to the latest version of GP or SL, Messenger allows compliance, and we take care of all the emailing so they don't miss a step. And it also applies to people on Sage software, Mass 100, Mass 500. doesn't matter to us.
Piggybacking on what Jeff just said, we have the ability, like he said, to throttle it. So if what Microsoft does is it flags it, it stops sending the emails after 30 emails. This is Office 365, 30 emails per minute. So we can, depending on the speed of your computer, we can adjust and slow down Messenger for sending the invoices or the emails to Office 365. So you never reach that 30 per minute. So we've had quite a number of clients that buy Messenger just for that feature.
Wow. Yeah, a lot of great things. And I've had kind of back to the variable attachment, partners tell me they've used that with clients, like that safety sheet issue, right? Or a chemical processor, they have to attach, you know, a safety sheet to each line on the, you know, for every chemical. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty, I think that's pretty powerful, that variable attachment feature.
That's even at the line item level, the batch ID number, batch number also. So we could use both fields to go into a folder and retrieve the MSDS report that's named item number dash lot number, because we grabbed the lot number off the document and the item number. So any of that data can be used to come up with that naming convention of the attachment that we retrieve. It's really, really powerful.
So what are some of the new things that you're looking to introduce to help customers in their journey to the cloud, or just improving operational efficiency?
Well, one of the things that we've been doing for the newer products is another flavor, I guess, of Liaison Messenger EDD. It's called ETL. And it's to extract, transform, and load. And what we're doing is we're incorporating now web services, which obviously, moving to the cloud, it's a very important element of this. So Liaison Messenger ETL is another new product. And we're incorporating the ability so that instead of accessing data strictly just from SQL, or directly from a pervasive table, we're allowing you to incorporate data from web services. And a web service can be anywhere in the cloud, anywhere in the internet in the world. We're retrieving the data inside of a JSON file, deserializing it, and actually allowing the customer to treat that as if it was data that came from a SQL table and incorporate that into their forms. And we have also reserved, I don't even know if I should be talking about this, but we have new domains that are not operational yet. They're still putting in something called Liaison.io and LiaisonMessenger.io. That's for the web services thing when we eventually get there, and hopefully within a year we'll be there. So that my vision for Messenger is, as you were saying, right now people are moving to the cloud. I would love to have a Liaison Messengers, the portal, so that a customer can create web services for the routing of their documents, and it would interact with BC, F&O, Intact, Acumatica, and everything would be in the cloud, and all the management of how the routing rules would be handled in the cloud through web services. And that's where the Liaison.io is coming into play. So a year and a half ago, we registered these things with ourselves so that we can be prepared, so that the platform would be ready when we're there. They just got to get these old programmers like me to get their act together and finish it. But one of these days we'll be there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we are definitely looking forward to the web service capabilities, and it's really cool stuff. Very cool stuff that's coming.
Any other observations that you hear from partners or customers, especially with this move to the cloud?
That's really the big one. Again, it's really cloud. A lot of these clients, GP resellers, are working with other third-party applications where they would be hosting GP in the cloud. So we're seeing more of that. And of course, with Business Central and the other cloud-based ERP solutions. But that's definitely the trend on where people are going. And we have clients, like I said, we have NetSuite clients. We have a handful of clients with Business Central now that are using that, and quite a number with Acumatica. So we're there supporting that and being able to support printing when the ERP package is being hosted. So some customers are storing Messenger or running Messenger locally, and then we have access to all of their printers, so we could print to warehouse printers and user printers specifically based on the data and route according to the data on the report.
So one of the interesting part is you could be up in the cloud. You're no longer on your local network, and that's where all your printers are. So you can still be running inside of the cloud, your ERP. You could put a version of Messenger on-prem. It can act as a print server and a print router. So when the documents are being printed, it goes to the Messenger server on-prem, which touches all the printers locally. So you can still have that same capability, even though you're up in the cloud, detached from your local area network. And that's a very big thing as far as working remotely from home.
Yeah, it seems like that journey to cloud, like you could take it in phases, right? You could go from your on-prem server to maybe a hosted cloud or a hosting partner that has a cloud server, or even, GP online, right? There's services or companies that do that, but also, all the way till when they start transitioning, right, to a cloud-based ERP but like you said, there are even some companion products that are now cloud-based, right? So maybe GP is on-prem or their legacy systems on-prem, but then they have like AP automation. That's all cloud-based now. So,
Exactly.
Any perspectives to share about the marketplace and how customers are trying to improve their efficiencies?
There's such a big part of what we do and why customers look at Messenger is because of that filtered routing, the exception handling situations where there's unique situations, and based on the data on the reports that we're processing, we can then trigger sending a copy to a salesperson, sending a copy to a warehouse printer, or as Jeff mentioned earlier, we could be running other reports. So we can trigger running SSRS or Crystal reports that are then piggybacked with the reports that we're processing. So we archive them, we retrieve them, we merge them together, we then archive them together. So a lot of that exceptional routing is a big part. We're hearing more and more about that these days, where customers are wanting, they have these unique situations when they want certain tasks to be taken care of based on data that's processed. So yes, exceptional routing is big in what we do.
And the routing itself that they can do, I mean, it's very, they're not really limited in what they can route. I mean, when Tom was talking about calling Crystal or calling a SSRS report, even SQL, you could also call PowerShell scripts. You can call web services. It's not that you're only limited to, just a document. You can actually call a PowerShell script that interacts with another device on your network that can generate or maybe trigger something that isn't even a report. Messenger is task-based. It's a giant script that the users create of how they want their documents processed and any ancillary actions performed as well. So you might want to, maybe want to load off some labels to another department. But Messenger allows you to tie everything together in almost like a giant domino effect. Each domino is a specific process. The first domino is someone printing a batch of documents. Then it starts triggering, and by the time the process is all done, all the little dominoes are knocked over. Messenger has been able to complete an entire process of workflow automation, and it was only triggered by one person at the beginning of the process, and it eliminated the need to have maybe 2 or 3 or 4 other people generating other documents to put together.
Right.
And so it's
they could spend their time doing something that's more value added than just printing reports and stuffing envelopes or distributing those manager reporter.
Yep, absolutely. And it frees people's time up to be more productive.
Yeah, definitely. Is there any specific industries that you work in or specialize in?
Well, I'd say really, if you had to focus on most of our customers are on the manufacturing and distribution side. But that's really the beauty of Messenger. It really just comes down to the need to distribute reports or business forms. It's interesting. We had, this is going back many years, the Chicago Symphony Orchestra used to run Messenger. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It's not a specific industry. It's just unique to having the need to process purchase orders.
Chicago Cubs, their baseball team, they use us. Yeah, San Diego Padres just bought us.
Yeah,
it's pretty widespread. Even food industry, anything that needs to have documents processed and automated out to their clients or vendors.
So, any new trends on the horizon that you're seeing in this business form distribution space?
Well, really the trend that we've been dealing with for the past year is related to the emailing issues in Dynamics GP. That's really taken so much of our time that we had that flexibility of supporting that. And
been a very busy past 5 months. Very busy past 5 months.
Yeah, it's been really busy. So the emailing those are the trends that we've seen. I mean, that's such a big part of what we do. Emailing is a big part, of course, like as we keep talking about the attaching of supporting documentation, but being able to support that emailing capability. And like I said, it's not just with GP, it's with other Other products we've seen that's been the case too, where they've had issues with not being compatible with modern authentication for older versions of their products. And with Messenger, we're independent of the, the version of the solution because it's just print stream. And that's the beauty too of taking Messenger and using it with GP, but using it with, like I said, other ISVs or other custom solutions. It's the same exact product.
Right. And it's very portable. We have customers that are running, let's say, Dynamics GP, and they plan on moving to some other accounting package. Well, we can move with that accounting package. So all their processes, all their workflow that they've established over the past 10, 15, 20 years, if they change their accounting system, it doesn't matter. It's the same messenger. It's the same workflow. Yeah, it's very great, even for a stopgap. We've had people running, I'll give an example, one accounting package, and they're running parallel because they're still trying to move the data over. Messenger was able to incorporate and make the transition much easier because their customers and their vendors still receive the same documents the same way, even though they are in the background, in the back office, changing their ERP systems. So Messenger,
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, new implementation migration scenario. You guys have been able to help kind of keep at least the processes the same for the users and customers.
Exactly. So it's sort of like the customers and vendors, they aren't disrupted by the back office changeover from ERP systems. And it's a great, it's a nice way.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
Transition.
Yeah, because a lot of GP users are on-prem to go into the cloud. They're worried about that.
Or changing completely to GP to BC, or F&O.
Yeah.
Those are things that, it's a real life situation. Messenger can help mitigate the confusion as far as sending documents.
Yeah, that business disruption, that is a huge concern for businesses, especially as they're looking right now with limited staff and resources and everything else. Is there one trend that you're seeing right now that's really driving customers and partners talk to you? Maybe you already spoke to this, but is there kind of one trend you're seeing?
Well, again, the trend is really the emailing issues in GP, which we
the authentication requirements now.
All right.
We allow you to also work on, so you have, whether your exchange is in the cloud or whether it's not even Microsoft's Outlook, we work with Eudora, we work with the older email systems, Domino Effect from Lotus. We still have all that built into the software so that one of the things that we've done, and Messenger's been around since, the late 1990s, all those legacy applications are still used. And we have customers that are, believe it or not, we go back to the days of Great Plains with C-Tree and B-Tree. If you want to know how long, but that code, if someone installed an old Great Plains of C-Tree with Messenger EDD, it would still work because all that legacy stuff is still incorporated into our software. We don't take anything out. So we move ahead, the customer moves ahead, and even if they had to revert back to an older version, they wouldn't have, Messenger would always be compatible. And Messenger is self-automated to the new version. So when someone installs a brand new version of Great Plains, they don't need to call us for an update because our software automatically inherits.
It's already compatible. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
All those prior versions.
Very easy to, Messenger, very easy to deploy and maintain.
Well, that makes the customer and the partner much more comfortable when they're having to bring a legacy customer up to a more up-to-date or modern version. So
exactly.
So thank you both for joining us today. And it was really interesting to hear about your journey with Liaison and how you got your name, and also how you're helping customers move to the cloud as well as migrate their systems. So thank you so much for joining today.
Thank you, Carol.
And thank you for inviting us.
Any resellers or customers that would, have any questions or would like to schedule an online demonstration, please reach me at the information on the screen. Be happy to spend some time with you.
Awesome. Yeah, there's Tom Nielsen's contact information and email. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.